Are you worried your pup might have separation anxiety? Or maybe you're here in hopes of learning what to do to prevent it from happening in the future. If you've ever asked, is my puppy just fussing? Or is something actually wrong? Or is this normal puppy behavior? Or is this something more serious going on? Whether you're trying to get ahead of this, or you're already seeing some behaviors that are making you nervous, or you honestly have no idea what's normal and what isn't, this video is for you. I'm Michelle, your fear-free certified trainer. And if you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new video when it drops. Okay, let's talk about separation anxiety, what it actually is, what it looks like, and how to tell the difference between a puppy who's just adjusting and one who genuinely needs more help. Let's start with a clear definition because this term gets thrown around a lot and has a very specific meaning. Separation anxiety is when a dog is unable to find comfort when left alone or separated from the people they're bonded to. It's not just whining when you leave the room. It's not just fussing when you put them in their crate. True separation anxiety is a genuine emotional struggle that causes a real distress for your dog, and it affects about 14% of all dogs. That means the majority of puppies who fuss, whine, and protest when left alone are not experiencing true separation anxiety. They're likely experiencing separation distress, and knowing the difference changes everything about how you respond. So, let's talk about where your pup may be on the separation spectrum. Now, on one end, you have a puppy who is confident, calm, and comfortable being alone. And on the other end, you have true separation anxiety. And here's the important part. There is a lot of space in between those two ends. And most puppies, especially newly homed puppies, fall somewhere in the middle. They're not confident yet, but not in crisis mode either. Let me walk you through the stages so you can get a feel for where your puppy might be sitting right now. Stage 1. Discomfort. This is the most common thing new puppy owners see, and it's completely normal. Your puppy whines a little, maybe scratches at the crate door a tiny bit, and fusses when you leave the room. This is a puppy who's adjusting to a brand new world. Think about what your puppy just went through. They left their mom. They left their litter mates. Every smell, every sound, every face around them is brand new. Of course they're gonna fuss a little. This is not separation anxiety. This is a puppy learning that the world is a safe place even when you're not right next to them. Stage 2. Separation distress. This is where things need a little more attention. Now, separation distress looks more intense than general discomfort. We're talking about some howling and some barking, more frantic vocalization to see if you respond, difficulty settling even after a few minutes. This includes light pacing in the crate, barking or crying with moments of pause before starting again. This isn't crisis level yet, but it's a signal that your puppy needs more support and more intentional training around alone time. Left unchecked, separation distress can slide into something harder to address. This is why early action matters so much. This is also why we have to be cautious of how we respond to our puppy's behavior. With this milder version of fussing, we want to wait until our puppy is calm before we let them out of their crate. So for example, if you're in the other room and your puppy is in their crate and you hear them fussing and crying, you're going to wait until you hear that pause or a moment of silence before you return. We don't want to teach them that their barking or crying is what gets us to come running back to them. Stage 3. Separation anxiety. True separation anxiety is at the far end of the spectrum, and it looks very different from normal puppy fussing. We're talking about a puppy who cannot settle at all when left alone. We're talking destructive behavior that happens specifically when left alone. Repeated attempts to escape the crate or the room, and biting at the crate bars. Excessive drooling, panting, or pacing, and potty accidents from a puppy who's otherwise reliably trained. And often, a puppy who seems almost frantic when they sense you're about to leave, before you even walk out the door. That anticipatory panic is one of the clearest signs that something more serious is going on. And here's the most important thing I want you to take away from this section. The further along the spectrum your puppy is, the harder it is to address, which means the best time to act is before it gets worse, not when it becomes a crisis. This is why we want to practice teaching your puppy how to be alone for short periods before leaving them for long periods of time. Now, if you want more tips on this topic, comment alone and I'll share our YouTube video all about how to prepare your puppy for alone time. Now, you heard me say that you shouldn't let your puppy cry for long periods of time, but just how much time is too much? I get it. Our brains want a specific number. Just tell me, Michelle. Is it 7 minutes, 10 minutes? What's the magic number? Here's the honest answer. Canine science has concluded that the cry it out method that used to be taught years ago is not an effective way of teaching a puppy to self-soothe. Sadly, many trainers still recommend this outdated advice. A short period of fussing before a puppy settles can be a normal part of the process. But here's the guideline I want you to keep in mind. If your puppy is barking or panicking for more than 10 minutes, you are increasing the likelihood of separation anxiety developing. Now, this is not a hard cutoff. It doesn't mean that at the 11-minute mark, your puppy is just permanently damaged. But it does mean that the longer and more intensely your puppy is struggling, the more you're reinforcing that being alone is a scary and overwhelming experience. And we never want alone time to feel scary. So if your puppy is escalating past that point, that's your cue to step in, reset, and scale back to something your puppy can actually handle. A dog does not get more comfortable by spending more time being uncomfortable. That's probably one of the most important sentences in this entire video. Let me give you 5 action steps to prevent separation anxiety. Now, whether your puppy's at the discomfort stage or you're already seeing signs of distress, these 5 steps are your game plan. Action step number 1, meet your puppy's needs first. So before you ask your puppy to spend time alone, just make sure their basic needs are met. Potty break, age-appropriate exercise, some mental enrichment, and social time with you. A puppy whose needs are met is a puppy who's actually capable of resting. And naps are just as important as exercise. An overtired puppy is a puppy who cannot settle no matter how much they need to. Watch those wake windows closely. Most young puppies can only handle about 1 to 1.5 hours of awake time before they need to rest. Getting them down for a nap before they hit that overtired wall makes alone time so much easier. Now, this is when puppy owners ask, Michelle, how do I know what my puppy's wake window is? Well, comment planner below and I'll share my free puppy schedule planner resource with you so you can see exactly what those wake windows look like based on your puppy's age. Action step 2. Create a calming environment. The environment around your pup's alone time matters big time. A few tools that can make a real difference include a snuggle puppy, placed inside the crate or on top of the crate if your puppy is a chewer. It mimics the heartbeat and the warmth of a litter mate and can be incredibly soothing for a young puppy. A crate cover to reduce visual stimulation and create that cozy space to rest. Remember to cover the front and sides and leave the back open for airflow. A white noise machine or calming music playing softly in the background can help too. The Thunder Ease pheromone spray. It should be applied in and around the crate about 15 minutes before your puppy goes in. It mimics the natural calming pheromones a mother dog produces and can take the edge off for an anxious pup. And always do a cool down routine before crate time. So transition your puppy from active play to a calm licking or chewing activity for about 15 minutes before that crate time. Going from zoomies and play straight into the crate to relax is setting everyone up for a hard time. Action step 3. Build confidence gradually. This is where the real training work happens. And it happens outside of the time you actually need your puppy to be alone. Short, positive, intentional sessions where your puppy learns that you leave and then you come back every single time. That pattern of departure and return is what actually builds confidence over time. So start with small increments of time here. We're talking 10 to 30 seconds and gradually build to longer durations. Some puppies need you to start by simply stepping out of sight for a few seconds before returning. That's not failure, that's meeting your puppy exactly where they are. Now in a moment, I'm gonna tell you about a student named Claire and her dog, Fig. Claire needed to go back to work, and when she came home, there was an angry neighbor standing on her doorstep. So stay tuned to find out what happened. But first, if your puppy is struggling with crate training or you want the crate and pen games that I use to work on independence training, I've got you covered. Inside our online puppy perfection program, we have a full series of crate and independence training games designed specifically to build your pup's confidence step by step. These are the games that take a puppy from panicking the moment you disappear to watching you leave without a second glance. Comment course below and I'll share the link with you to check out everything that's included in the program. And before I tell you about Claire and Fig, I do want to share the next action step. So that story's coming, hang tight. Action step number 4, practice safe alone time every day. Your puppy needs to practice being alone regularly, even when you don't have to leave. I'm looking directly at you, work from home puppy parents. I know it feels good to keep your puppy with you all day, but a puppy who's with their person every single minute of every single day has no practice being without them. And then the moment you actually have to leave, it feels catastrophic to your puppy. So build separation into your daily routine intentionally. Put your puppy in their crate while you're home. Leave the room when they're settled. Let them practice the experience of you being gone and then coming back in small, safe, manageable doses. Okay, story time. Claire had an 11-week-old Cavalier King Charles Spaniel named Fig. From day one, Fig was glued to Claire's side, and Claire loved it. Honestly, who wouldn't? Cavaliers are basically living stuffed animals. This is true. I personally have a Cavalier named Pickles, and he loves being near his family. Claire worked from home, so Fig was with her all day long, curled up under her desk, following her to the kitchen, sitting at her feet while she took calls, even making sure she was okay when she went to the bathroom. He thought he was the bouncer at the door, until the day Claire had to go into the office for the first time since bringing Fig home. She was gone for 4 hours. She came home to a neighbor waiting on her doorstep. Fig had cried and barked for the entire 4 hours without stopping. There was also a destroyed doormat and 2 potty accidents from a puppy who had been doing really well with potty training. Claire was devastated and confused. Fig had seemed so happy and relaxed at home. How could he be so stressed? Here's what I had to explain to Claire. Fig wasn't happy and relaxed. Fig was dependent. Those are 2 very different things. Fig had never once practiced being without Claire because there had never really been a reason to. So when Claire disappeared for 4 hours with no warning and no preparation, Fig's world completely fell apart. So we started from scratch with short, intentional alone time sessions built into Claire's work from home day. 30 seconds at first, and then a minute, then 5 minutes, working up gradually over several weeks. It wasn't fast, but it worked. And by the time Claire's next office day rolled around about a month later, Fig barely looked up from her frozen-filled Kong when Claire walked out the door. Now the difference between those 2 days wasn't Fig. It was the preparation Claire had done with Fig that made all the difference. Now, if you have to go into the office and you don't have a work from home opportunity like Claire does, then this next one is for you. Action step number 5. Protect your puppy from distressing experiences. This one is a non-negotiable. If you know you need to leave and your puppy's not ready to handle that amount of time alone, make a plan. Hire a pet sitter. Ask a family member or friend to come over. Do whatever you need to do to make sure your puppy is not left alone for longer than they can handle. I know, that feels like a lot of extra effort right now, but here's the perspective I want to offer you. You are in a short window of time right now with your puppy. This intensive support phase, it does not last forever, but the habits and emotional patterns your puppy builds during this window, those can last a lifetime. Protecting your puppy's alone time now is one of the most important investments you can make in their long-term well-being. And if your puppy ever reaches a full panic in their crate, get them out. Normally, we want to wait even for a tiny moment of quiet before opening that crate door because we want to reward calm behavior. But a panicking puppy is an entirely different situation. Get them out. Let them reset and make a note of how much time they were able to handle before things escalated. That's going to be your starting point for the next time. Now that you know what to watch for with separation anxiety, there are a handful of other things your puppy might be doing right now that look alarming or feel frustrating or just seem off. And some of those are completely normal, and some of them are early signs that something else needs your attention before it becomes a much harder problem to fix. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through the puppy behaviors that new owners worry about the most, and the ones that new owners question if they're even normal or not. I want to help you figure out which ones are no big deal and which ones deserve a closer look before they turn into something bigger. Now, some of these puppy behaviors might surprise you, and I bet you're seeing some right now, maybe even thinking they're cute. What's cute as a puppy isn't always cute as an adult dog. So, if you want to find out what I'm talking about, I'll see you in the next video.